My brother is truly a despicable person. My brother, 55 male, and his wife, 52 female, have been married for 30 years, and 4 years ago, she was diagnosed with early-onset dementia. Her, let's call her Janet, condition has deteriorated in the last 2-ish years, as she is now between stage 2 and stage 3, which means she's mildly impaired and does need care. 2 years ago, my brother Dan, fake name, hired Brenda, another fake name, as her caregiver. At first, everything seemed normal, but I, 33 female, had a bad feeling about Brenda, cause she was too friendly with Dan, and over time they were both overly familiar with each other. I did point this out to Dan several times actually, and he always brushed me off as me being uptight. But here we are now. At the end of October 2020, he moved Brenda in. At first, he said it was because Janet needed much more help than he initially thought. But I found that to be odd, since Janet did not need live-in care. But again, I pushed that thought out of my mind because dementia patients can be one thing one moment and another thing the next. Then, around June this year, Janet confided in me that she was unhappy at home and that she has started to feel like a third wheel in her marriage. Then, in August, I get a call from Janet saying that Brenda is pregnant with Dan's baby and now share a bed every night. I called Dan after my talk with Janet, and he denied everything. He even called me crazy for believing Janet. I still didn't believe him and went to visit Janet that same night. And let me tell you, the way Brenda was walking around the house and her random flirting with Dan was out of control. So I just said, "Brenda, are you ducking Dan? Are you pregnant?" And Brenda, without missing a beat, just went, yes I am," right in front of Janet. No shame, no regret or even a hint of remorse, just nothing. I just looked at Janet and asked her if she wanted to leave. She said, "Yes, I do." That night, Janet spent the night at my house. Dan came to my house the next day asking me not to make this such a big deal, that he made a mistake and blah blah blah. But Janet was clear. A few weeks later, I found a divorce lawyer and started to get Janet's financial affairs and assets in order. Dan no longer has access to Janet's money. The very money that lured, or better yet, enticed Brenda to get with Dan, and their new life isn't as comfortable as the one before. My father, who's also another piece of crap, guess the apple didn't fall far from the tree, is now arguing with me on why I'm on Janet's side and not Dan, especially since he's my brother. Now my brother has gone around and badmouthed me to anyone who'll listen, saying that I've manipulated Janet into leaving him, and I don't know how to deal with everyone without also sharing Janet's business to everyone, as I know Janet doesn't want people to know right now. So how do I deal with people thinking I'm a bad person when I'm trying to protect someone? I know it shouldn't matter, but it does matter to me. Edit. Janet and Dan never had kids. Janet has no other family than me. Her parents passed away years ago, and she is the only child. She has an estranged cousin, but she would never trust that person to care for her. I'm all she's got, and to be honest, I don't mind. In fact, I love being around Janet, and I see me caring for her as repayment for all the years she raised me, nurtured, protected, and loved me as a child. Is there any special reason you have contact with your brother besides the fact that he's your brother? I would cut him out of my life after this. I hope you know that no matter what anyone says, you're doing the right thing and should follow through for Janet. This is a very good deed, and I don't know you, but I'm proud of you. As someone who works in-home care for those with mild dementia, this is disgusting. If she works with any sort of company, report Brenda to her higher-ups. Cut your brother off while you are at it. He sounds horrible. You are an awesome sister-in-law, by the way. For a little background, my 26 female sister is 28 female and has been with her husband, 32 male, for the last 3 years, married for 1. Since getting together, she has slowly changed her appearance and behavior to meet his preferences. I know it is instigated by him because at the beginning and before their relationship, we were very close and she would confide in me. It started small. He would offer to get her nails done regularly at the salon, even though that was never really her thing before. Then, he started paying for her to regularly get her naturally blonde hair dyed brunette, his preference on woman and the color of all his ex's hair. Then it was regular professional spray tans to dye her naturally pale skin orange. Her style has also changed dramatically, as well as her hobbies and choice of activities. Before, my sister was quite outdoorsy. We used to go canoeing and hiking together regularly. Now, she doesn't do these things. She prefers to spend her free time shopping, brunching, and pampering herself. She says she's just naturally grown out of how she used to be, but I believe it is all heavily influenced by her husband. Her friendship group has also changed and gotten significantly smaller. She went from being popular and easily seeing 15+ friends on the regular to only having 1 or 2, who I'm not sure she even sees often if her Insta is anything to go by. She has also recently gotten her lips done and veneers put in. She looks completely different to her natural self and, in my opinion, is now very basic looking in comparison to the unique beauty she had been before. The rest of my family don't like how much she has changed, but they love him because he always appears really charming and sweet. He also lavishes them with gifts and meals on the reg, which to me is a very obvious manipulation tactic, but no one else seems to see this. I am also the only one she ever confided in at the beginning, so I don't think they have any idea how much of these changes stem from husband. Anyway, yesterday we were all at my parents' for Christmas, and the time came to open presents. He got my sister some lovely things, which she could very well have asked for: Rolex watch, cashmere scarf, perfume, etc. But then he handed her her final gift, which was an envelope. When she opened it, he explained that it was a printed confirmation of a consultation appointment he had scheduled on her behalf with one of the best BBL surgeons in the country. She looked shocked, but then thanked him. By the look on her face, I thought she was going to cry. She then quickly dashed off to the loo. When she came back, I was 99% sure she had been crying, as her eyes were all red. No one else seemed to notice. Later in the evening, I tried asking if she was okay, but she brushed me off. To my awareness, she has never expressed any dissatisfaction with the shape of her bum. Quite the opposite, actually. For years, she has taken pride in the butt she has grown through gymming. She also posts posy photos on Insta showing off her figure, butt included. So to me, this gift is completely off. All the rest of the family have said is that they are happy if she's happy. He makes me sick. I don't know what to do. Could you orchestrate a girls' day or some sort of one-on-one hangout and speak with her then? You asked her in the heat of the moment, but maybe she didn't feel comfortable discussing the topic in the middle of a holiday gathering with her husband in the house. Maybe she'll be more willing to open up in a more neutral setting where you can express your concerns from a place of love and care. It is possible he's pushing her in this direction, and it's also possible she likes this new her. I do agree that's a super weird gift to present in front of family though. Wow, she's a human Barbie doll. He keeps having her change herself to be the woman he wants. This is so awful. The hair and spray tan are one thing, but her lips and now her butt is too much. He's toxic AF. She deserves so much better. She'd be better off if she divorced him. Of course, your parents will want her to stay with him because he buys them things. I hope you can make her see things for what they are before it's too late. First, it's a bum lift, then it's lipo, then a boob job, a nose job, cheek implants, etc. Your sister is perfect as she is. He doesn't love or respect her at all. I would also be concerned, but expressing disapproval may alienate your sister. You need to be prepared for that. A Brazilian butt lift is also quite a risky procedure, so there's that. I would perhaps invite your sister out to somewhere she will enjoy and just be there for her. If she says she is happy, then just tell her you love her and are there for her. Avoid any judgment about her changes. You can ask about medical safety and the surgeon she chooses, but not make judgment on what will be if she follows through with it as her choice. I do think, judging from your post, you may struggle to hit that note, so perhaps ask for help from your family. I immigrated with my family to the US when I was 19 years old. My husband came as a PhD student in one of the top US universities. We met in a religious celebration social event through common friends attending our local mosque. I was 23 at the time. He was 29 years old. He was still a fresh graduate and looking for marriage at the time. We are both Muslims and I'm quite religious, wearing headscarf, hijab, going regularly to the mosque, etc. He was very caring, smart, and affectionate. Also, he has a great sense of humor. I've fallen in love with him. A year later, he asked for my hand, and we are now married for 7 years. When we were married, he was working as a research scientist in one of the top tech companies in the US. Our marriage couldn't be more perfect. I discovered how romantic and charming my husband is. Our life is amazing. I always felt desired and loved with him. We have 2 beautiful children, and he is a great father. My world was perfect until he decided to quit his job and launch a startup. His startup achieved massive success and racked up millions of dollars in investments. My husband became a successful entrepreneur, managing several businesses in the US and his home country. Since he becomes rich, we moved to a large mansion, and I noticed he started to change. He comes back home late every night, saying he has late meetings with important people and I should go to bed and not wait for him. He starts wearing expensive clothes and spends more time in front of the mirror. He becomes cold with me and barely spends time with his children. I grow suspicious after I found a membership card for an upscale nightclub in his suit pocket. So I searched his phone and I found photos of him sitting in a lounge with his business partners, surrounded by beautiful women in skimpy outfits. I felt my stomach drop. I confronted him. He calmly explained to me that these women are escorts invited by his business partners and not him. He insists that it's a common practice for the wealthy investors. However, he fears God and he doesn't want anything to do with them. He has no choice in this matter. I informed him that I'm not comfortable with that and how he changed and how he is not available for me and his children. He replied that these old days are gone for good. Now he is a busy businessman and I should understand his responsibilities. The worst has yet to come. He organized an inauguration party of the new headquarters of his new company affiliate and didn't invite me, despite inviting all his employees and their spouses. I learned this from one of his employees who is a friend of mine. I used to visit him in his office and I know some of his employees. While he is dressing for the event, I confronted him and he told me that many important investors will attend the event and most of them are Republicans. So the last thing they want to see is that my wife is wearing a hijab, headscarf. I'm sorry. I collapsed in crying and he left without saying a word. My friend sent me a video of my husband dancing with a blonde woman in long revealing black dress in the inauguration event. There was slow dance music and dance floor next to the tables. She told me that he didn't quit her for a second the whole night, and there are rumors in the company that my husband has a close relationship to her. Some of her co-workers saw them together before that. In the past, when we just got married, I recall one night he had told me that he was picked on when he was a kid, and how the hate he has for his attackers pushed him to work hard to prove himself. But he felt like skipping his teen years as a result. He also talked about how he used to be obsessed with blonde hair and blue eyes and loved wild Western women because he was like a military academy graduate when he in his teen years and regret missing all these years. But at the end, he didn't have the courage to ask them, referring to the blondes, out because of his lack of confidence and social skills in addition to the cultural differences. He looks too boring in their eyes. Just recalling these details makes me devastated. I kept quiet for a few days until I couldn't take it anymore and confronted him again. He told me that she is just a friend and nothing else, and I should quit excessive jealousy and hallucinating. Yesterday, I was hearing him talking in the phone in his home office. I thought he was talking with her because the door was closed and he was laughing. I break down, start yelling at him, "It's her, right?" and crying. He starts shouting in anger, "What do you want to hear? You want to tell you it's her? Yes, I was talking with her, and I'm in deep love with her. You feels good now?" And he left. I'm crying since yesterday. I love this man. I hate myself and lost all my confidence. I wish all this wealth disappears and our simple life return like it used to be. I'm worried that this woman will steal my husband and he will leave me for her. I feel like he is on a power trip and it's killing me. I don't know what to do. I'm completely devastated. I'm going to be blunt. You have lost your husband. That man you are living with is no longer your husband. You can try getting your imam and parents involved to see if the situation can be salvaged, but I doubt it. Go to a divorce lawyer and weigh your options. I'm guessing there was no prenup. Take as much of his money and assets that you can, then go live your life. Good luck, and be prepared for him to tell you he wants a second wife. I'm sorry, but wealth has not changed your husband. Fundamentally, good people do not turn into cheating a-holes overnight because they make money. Other women cannot steal your husband. Your husband is not a passive object. If he cheats on you, he's making the conscious choice to do it because he doesn't respect you or value his family. I'd call up a friend that can lend you level-headed support and find a lawyer. People are mostly religious till the time it serves their own greed, lust, and subjugate others. To him, you want to wear hot dress and go to bars. He will give you religious sermons, why not to? He would play Islamic card to tackle his guilt, whatever is left of it, like divorcing by calling it 3 times and justifying polygamy. As others suggested, it's going to get worse. Get a lawyer and protect your future with divorce. One advice: don't move back to your or his original country during the separation. You could be held captive and forced into submission. I'm going to start my post by saying that I don't have kids, and I have no experience with babies, or motherhood, or children. I'm 18, and beyond being around them in group settings where at least one of the parents and a ton of other people are around. That's it. Just for some context to my post. My brother's wife had a baby 17 days ago. I didn't go visit them yet, but my brother and sister-in-law sent me some pictures. My brother said our cousin Rachel was around a lot because my sister-in-law is having trouble breastfeeding, and Rachel is a big believer in it and is helping her. I offered to help them if they needed it, and on Saturday they asked me to go to the grocery store for them because no home delivery had an open spot. When I dropped the food off, I was shocked at how my sister-in-law looked. She literally looked like The Walking Dead, barely awake and not showered, and she was actually crying because she was so frustrated. It actually scared me how bad she looked. At first, I didn't want to butt in, but it bothered me so much, I went back to the store and got a can of baby formula. I figured it would give her a break and my niece could eat. It was even worse when I gave it to my sister-in-law, because I said it was no big deal if my niece got formula. It wasn't a problem. My sister-in-law broke down, and I was honestly scared because she was weeping. Like in the movies when someone dies kind of weeping. No one told her it was okay not to breastfeed. She felt so guilty because of Rachel butting in, and no one telling her formula was okay. I actually ripped my brother a new one because he sat back while my sister-in-law suffered. There was no way he didn't see how bad she looked. No offense, but she looked terrible. I got my sister-in-law to shower after my niece ate and fell asleep, and I changed the sheets on the bed and told my sister-in-law to sleep while my niece slept, and I said I would get more baby formula. I thought I did the right thing because my sister-in-law actually stopped crying, showered, and slept, and the next 3 days she looked better and didn't cry again. My niece gets full. My idiot brother smartened up and told Rachel to stay away, and everyone else, especially our parents and sister-in-law's parents, to butt out. They take turns feeding so they both can sleep. My parents and Rachel are furious at me. Sister-in-law's sister was in agreement with Rachel and left me an angry voicemail full of swearing. Rachel basically had sister-in-law holding the baby while topless 24/7, and my dumb brother sat there and didn't help with the baby at all. Rachel breastfed all her kids until they could walk and talk and never had problems, but my sister-in-law obviously did. My dad said I overstepped and should not have butted in. Normally, I'm big on mind your own business, but this time I was scared crapless after seeing sister-in-law on Saturday. Since I'm not a mother or baby expert, I have no idea what it is like with a newborn. I'm second-guessing now after feeling like I did the right thing because everyone is angry with me and saying I should mind my own business. Not the a-hole. You probably saved the baby's life. Husband should have taken her to the hospital, and they would have probably done the same thing, giving the baby formula. Some people are so smug about thinking they are right, they ignore the facts under their noses.